Prior to that, I would like to ask, is there any doubts regarding the previous sessions? You all have now familiarized with the simulating an electromechanical EGC system using MATLAB program. And you may be wondering why both MATLAB and Simulink we are studying. So in today's class, I will show you what is the importance of going to MATLAB program directly instead of simply using Simulink. We are gradually going to introduce more and more complex part of system modeling. Today, I am going to introduce one very important part of system modeling of electromechanical EGC system. It's called the stick-slip friction modeling. You have already modeled the friction in the nonlinear simulation using a signum function, but that is only a crude way of or approximate way of modeling friction. That friction phenomena cannot be represented by a signum function. So today I will be taking the theory for that, and real modeling coding for stick-slip friction will be given as an assignment to you. And you can submit that assignment before the coming Thursday midnight so that I can go to the next portion on Friday. Let me go to the screen sharing mode. I will be talking about modeling and simulation of Coulomb friction and stiction in electromechanical actuation system. I hope all of you are able to see my screen. Okay. I have to get your feedback, otherwise I don't know. I will not know.
Yes, sir. It's visible. It's visible, sir.
Yeah. So you should be live. Then only I can give the interactive. First, I would like to show you 3 different types of frictions which you have already studied right from high school or +2 onwards. First one is called viscous friction, that is normally represented by some coefficient B into theta dot, and it's a linear friction we call. That we already model in the normal electromechanical system with symbol B, capital B, where it can be BM or BL or B equivalent, so many things. We are not now today talking about that because that is already there in the linear portion. We are talking about the Coulomb friction part and stiction part. First, let us see the Coulomb friction part, which we have already represented as TF is equal to TC signum function of theta dot, because its sign changes as per the value of the velocity. But you can see there is an uncertain indeterminate domain at theta dot equals 0, because exact value of theta dot equals 0 you cannot detect. That is the portion that we are going to come. In addition to that, the discontinuity of Coulomb friction at theta dot equals 0, there is an enhanced value of friction at theta dot equals 0. Some extra friction is there near 0 velocity, that is called stiction phenomena. And if you combine this stiction along with the Coulomb friction, we will get the net friction like this. It is known as stick-slip friction. I will explain you the meaning of stick-slip friction. And the friction value at theta dot equals 0, the 0 will be a larger value compared to the normal TC, the Coulomb friction alone. That is why it is represented as TS here. And the decay from TS to TC as the velocity increases is given by such a curve. And this effect is called Strybeck effect. You might have studied in physics, Strybeck effect. Today I am anyway not going to model the Strybeck effect, but I am going to model the stick slip phenomena. That is a discontinuity of the friction at theta dot equals 0. So Ts will suddenly change to Tc instead of gradually changing as the velocity picks up. But at theta dot equals 0, the value of the friction can be anywhere between plus Ts and minus Ts. We cannot exactly determine using such a representation. So how we can exactly represent this stiction phenomena in our nonlinear model simulation? That is the topic of today's discussion. And this is a very, very important part of simulation because it is having a large role to play in the system dynamics. So if you are representing it by a wrong model, you will finally end up in a wrong conclusion of your controller design. Once you go to the actual system only, you will experience that the behavior is different from what we observed in the simulation, and we will not have any idea how to compensate for that because simulation is not matching with the experimental observation. There are multiple models available in literature to model such as stick slip phenomena. Something is called some Thaler model is there. Multiple models are, but none of these models are good enough in practical case. That is why I am giving you a very innovative way of modeling stick slip phenomena that actually this particular concept I only developed some 30 years back, and that is now being used in all launch vehicles of ISRO. So and it is tested and proven, and we are seeing how it is actually matching with the experimental results. So it is a method which is very specific to simulation. So you can, if you have any doubts so far, you can ask so that before I am going to the next portion, there is no problem. Okay. Now, modeling of stick slip phenomenon, that is today's discussion. Here I am talking about a rotational system. You can probably represent the system like this. There is a torque and we have a J and B and K. It is having both inertia, damping and spring, but in our electromechanical system, this spring is absent, but I am modeling the stick slip phenomena with the generic law. So this is being concerned only with respect to a 1 degree of freedom system. That is only one coordinate of motion, that is theta. Then it is having theta dot as the velocity and theta double dot here as the acceleration. You know that if T is the external torque applied to this load dynamics, mass, let's say inertia, spring, damper load, at any time, there is a state value for the system given by theta and theta dot. Corresponding to that, you can subtract the loading effect due to K theta, that is a spring restoration force component. And if it's moving with a finite value of theta dot, there is a linear damping, that is called viscous effect, that also you can subtract. Thus the effect due to damping and spring. Torque we are subtracting from the applied torque. The remaining torque is applied only across the inertial load, which will produce theta double dot acceleration for the rotational shaft, which when integrated, you will get theta dot, and further integration, you will get theta. And you have to inject this initial condition theta dot 0 and theta 0. This actually the mark is not there. I removed cut. So it is only initialization of the integrators which you have already studied. Now I am going to talk about introducing friction phenomena like this. This is where we are concentrating. When theta dot is greater than 0, it is straightforward to model the friction torque as Tf is equal to Tc signum theta dot. It is the normal Coulomb friction. So F refer to the general friction, whereas this is the specific case of friction. Tf is equal to Tc signum theta dot for theta dot greater than 0. I already told that I am not considering the tail portion of the Strybeck effect. I assume that Ts suddenly becomes Tc while theta dot picks up to any finite positive, or suddenly it moves T minus Ts moves to minus Tc as theta dot becomes any finite negative. Such a case only a model. When theta dot equals 0, it is tricky to model the stiction, since the boundary between theta dot equals 0 and theta dot greater than 0 is difficult to identify due to finite word length of digital computer. Now we have two problems. One is modeling the physical phenomenon. Second, even if you model the physical phenomenon in a continuous time domain, how you can equivalently represent in discrete simulation. In digital simulation, the problem is everything is processed as a sequential thing. So when you are converting a discontinuous phenomena in continuous time domain to a digital domain, discrete simulation, we should be very, very careful in assigning the sequence of logic. Otherwise, the final result of simulation will be inconsistent with the continuous time phenomena. That is very important that I want to highlight. Now, hence the important part of friction modeling is to identify the stick-slip boundaries, because the boundary having two parts. One is namely the stick to slip, a slip to stick boundary or transition. Another is stick to slip transition. Both these transitions we have to identify. That is the major task of the simulation. So that's what I told. If you go to Simulink, it may be difficult because many of the internal variables are not in your hand. So switching over, etc., will be difficult and it will not be transparent. But while you are writing MATLAB program in some derivative routine and integration routine, everything is visible to you. You have the full control over this program. First, we'll concentrate on identification of slip-stick transition. Slip means it is in there is a finite velocity. That's called it slipping. Then definitely you know that while it is slipping, Coulomb friction, the so-called Coulomb friction given by Tc signum of theta m dot is the friction. But when this slipping motion gets stuck up, that is stick to the surface. If we are, for example, if we are pulling a table or a floor, it will slip. When you reduce the force, suddenly it will stick to the floor. Then again, you will increase your pulling force, again it will slip. If you are on the border of your force is on the border of this Coulomb friction and stiction, then you can have some chatter and discontinuity between slipping and sticking. That's why it is called stick-slip phenomena. Now we are considering the slip to. So any doubts? Okay. Consider this. I am explaining this concept with respect to this simple mass spring damper model. Since the friction torque is passive, its introduction in a mechanical inertia spring damper system at any instant cannot change the direction of velocity when compared to the velocity without friction. This is the fundamental principle of physics I am applying to model the stick-slip phenomenon. What I am telling is, you consider initially only the linear system. That is, the red part is not there. Only the other part is there. That's purely linear. Assume that you are applying a torque and there is a value of theta and theta dot. And theta dot is small enough so that the moment you apply an additional friction, it will get stopped. That's what you normally, I assume that is sufficiently small. By introducing, just I'm switching on this TC signum theta dot. That is also negative sign. I have to put a negative sign here. There is a friction, the force, if it is moving positive in the positive direction, a negative force will come and will subtract from that T. So if this theta dot is very small, you just assume that if you apply the torque is applied and theta dot is not zero, but suddenly if you introduce friction, then what I'm telling is its introduction in the mechanical inertia spring damper system at any instant cannot change the direction of velocity when compared to the velocity without friction. That is, you are simulating two cases. One is suddenly you are introducing friction and simulating. Another is the case without friction. The point is the introduction of the friction cannot change the polarity of theta dot in the next instant. You follow? Suppose it changes the polarity. What will happen? That is what I am going to prove it in the next instant. This concept you can understand intuitively. Okay. You just assume that there is you are engaged in the job of pulling a table through a rough surface. And the table was approaching you, you are pulling, and the velocity was small enough. Suddenly, the table came to a zone with a larger friction. That's what I say. Suddenly, we are introducing friction. And can you imagine that suddenly the table moves back because of the friction? It can maximally stop. No? It cannot move back. If it move back, you will be surprised to see that now the friction has started driving something like an active source of energy, isn't it, driving in the opposite direction? That only I have stated here. I hope all of you agree with that experiment which I told. You know, if you are pulling the table only can stop. Still, you are pulling towards you. The friction cannot make it to move in the opposite direction. That is the statement which I made is torque is passive. There is, otherwise it should be having an attached to motor and all, an active thing, which is generating, getting energy from somewhere else. It can only dissipate out the energy. It cannot produce energy. So that's a statement. Friction torque is passive. Its introduction in a mechanical inertia spring damper system at any instant cannot change direction of velocity when compared to the velocity without friction.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt. Most of the motors have a lubrication system right inside. So is this stick slip model still valid when there is a lubricant? Because as the example of a table moving on a floor is basically two rough surfaces interacting with each other. That has a stick and slip mechanism. But
Okay.
we have lubricant inside. It is always
Okay.
contact and it doesn't.
Yeah, I will answer the question. Say, if it is a direct driven motor, what you tell is correct, even though ideally you cannot say. Ideally, you cannot say perfectly. You cannot say that the lubricated bearing is perfectly viscous type of damper. You cannot say. There will be, because we will be doing some sort of something called preloading and all to avoid some place in the off axis, etc. Something will be there. But in most of the case, we have gear stage also between motor and load. And the gear is notorious for backlash. How we'll avoid backlash? We'll introduce anti-backlash mechanism by way of preloading the bearings, the gear stages. Preloading is something but like which produce friction. Normally we go for a trade-off between the friction and backlash during adjusting the tension for preloading. So friction is this sort of stick slip, the Coulomb friction and friction is always present in a system with a gear. That's what you have to understand. So it is a very general phenomenon. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now consider the single degree of freedom mechanical load driven by this case. Now whatever statement I made qualitatively, I would like to express in terms of mathematical variable. Assume that the shaft has a small positive velocity theta dot equals epsilon at time t is equal to t1 minus, because now we are going to assume that the transition of the stick slip is occurring at the instant t is equal to t1. So t1 minus is instant just before the transition and t1 plus is instant just after the transition. So assume that theta dot is equal to epsilon at time t is equal to t1 minus, and it crosses to theta dot equals minus epsilon at time t is equal to t1 under the action of the Coulomb friction Tf given by Tc signum theta dot. This is what we have already simulated. We are applying model the friction like this, and definitely there is a time t is t1 at which there is a velocity transition from plus epsilon to minus epsilon. This epsilon is only a symbolic value, so you don't say that this epsilon is in magnitude is equal to this epsilon. I only want to say that it's a small positive value and a small negative value. Otherwise, I should put epsilon 1 and minus epsilon 2, etc. Okay, this I hope you will understand. It crosses to minus epsilon at time t is equal to t1 under the action. Then the polarity transition of theta dot can occur only after crossing through theta dot equals 0. This happens, so the plus epsilon to minus epsilon happens only through a theta dot is equal to 0 value. Now, if the friction torque Tf T1 minus is sufficient enough to drive theta dot T1 minus, which was positive epsilon, to 0 to minus epsilon at time t is equal to T1 from epsilon greater than 0. This is what happened. We assumed that it has happened. It has moved from velocity has changed from plus epsilon to minus epsilon through 0 value because of the action of Tf T1 minus that acted and made. Then Tf T1 plus, what is that value? It will be equal to minus of Tf T1 minus, because now the velocity, you say it has changed from plus epsilon to minus epsilon. Because of the sign reversal, definitely the friction value also will have sign reversal. If Tf T1 minus is able to do the transition from positive epsilon to minus epsilon, what I am arguing is that Tf T1 plus, which is the negative of the initial previous torque, will definitely drive theta dot T1 to 0 through to finally epsilon at t is equal to T1 plus. That is from the minus value to the positive value at t is equal to T1 plus from the minus value, leading finally to a chattering phenomena for the velocity at velocity, that value of the theta dot will chatter at the crossing point. Because the moment it goes to the other value, then friction is opposite to that negative opposite and so on. But such a chattering possibility, if such a chattering possibility detected, then the actual solution is to force theta dot to 0. Because if such a chattering occur means the friction has to be an active thing. Then only a passive thing cannot make a chattering thing, because we are not changing the value of the external torque T. External torque is steady. Then who will create chattering? A passive thing cannot create the chattering. Otherwise, there should be a resonance phenomenon like that. That cannot be. That's what we are arguing, that under such a situation, the chattering cannot occur. That is only because of the way you are doing simulation. And the right thing is, we have to detect that is the time of transition from the slipping motion to sticking motion, and we have to make theta dot as 0. That is how we can check it. You are now running the numerical integration program having multiple sampling interval. Hence the check is to run the simulation for kth sampling interval with both the dynamics. One is linear dynamics, purely linear dynamics. Another is nonlinear dynamics with the introduction of Tc signum theta dot. In numerical computers, always theta dot will have a finite value. It will, because of the accuracy problem, very 10 raised to minus 18, whatever very small value will be there. Either it will be positive or negative. Using that value, you put this Tc signum theta dot and get these two values. But both should start, the integration both should start with same value for the velocity variable. There is theta naught and theta. Both of the rates should be same. What I mean is, we have this, assume that this is the dynamics. We have to run two plans together, but both starting with the same value of theta dot 0 and theta 0. Only difference is at the kth sampling interval, one is having only linear dynamics, other is having the non-linear part also. It is switched. So we are parallelly simulating two cases. This is in the derivative routine. You can find out the derivative of the velocity variable using this. This is the only difference. But at the kth interval, you should always ensure that both are having the same value. Then if after integration is over with this derivative, then you go to the integration routine and find out the value of theta naught k plus 1 and theta naught dot k plus 1 and theta dot k plus 1. If their velocities are opposite, that is, if the product is negative, either both should be negative or both should be positive, but one is positive and another is negative. That means the introduction of friction at the kth interval has changed the polarity of velocity. Then what you have to understand is, it is the time of transition from slip to stick. Make theta dot k plus 1 as 0. Force the velocity to 0 in the next instant and set theta k plus 1 is equal to theta k. What is this? This is the position. See how you get the position? By integrating the velocity. If the velocity is equal to 0, position will not change. So in this new current interval, the k to k plus 1, that particular duration, if the velocity is 0, the position k plus 1th position will be same as the kth position. That's what we are doing. Theta k plus 1 is theta k, and set the stiction state flag, stick a flag to 1, declaring the system is in stiction band. That's all. This declares the slip to stick transition. Next part is how you can come back stick to slip transition numerical integration. If stick flag is equal to 1, the system will be in stiction zone with theta dot k equals 0. That you know. Now the system can escape from stiction zone only if the net driving torque exceeds the stiction value. Now I am changing, it is not TC, it is TS, a larger value of friction. That is TK minus K theta K should be greater than TS. What does it mean? Come back to this diagram. Already we have, while it was in the stiction band, theta dot is 0. So there is no damping force due to the viscous term. But this is already in some deflected condition. So theta and hence K theta, the spring restoring force is there. If you subtract this spring restoring force from the driving torque, the net driving force or net driving torque on the inertia plus friction system will be T minus K into theta K. If that friction, magnitude of the friction exceeds the stiction value, then only now shaft can start rotating. That is escape from the stiction band. That's what I made the statement. That is if Tk minus K theta K, if magnitude if it is greater than Ts. Under such condition, reset the stiction flag to 0. That is Tk FLG to 0 and solve the dynamics assuming normal Coulomb friction zone. That is, friction is assumed as Tc into signum theta dot. Then only one question is, at the sampling instant of entering, that is at the interval of stick to slip, entering into Coulomb friction zone from stiction zone, if we use Tf is equal to Tc signum theta dot, here theta dot will be 0 because we have forced theta dot to 0 while it was in stiction zone. So there is a indeterminacy for this signum function. So this to be replaced by Tec into signum function of Tk minus K theta K. You know that friction will always oppose either the velocity or the direction of the tendency to move. Here it has not started motion, it is only tending to move. So the direction of tending to move is same as direction of the net driving force. Tk minus K theta is the net driving torque. So we have to take this, that signum only. This will show how I think the other part, stick to slip transition also is now complete based on these two things. Now, only one thing you should remember is there is a very important principle in numerical integration. Flag state representing physical state should be changed only after completing the 4 steps of RK4. Or it should be done only in the integration routine, and that also should be done only after completing all the 4 steps of Runge-Kutta method. Because say RK4 is an approach to numerically equivalently do the integration process, continuous time integration process. Once you call the RK4 routine, then calling of derivative, everything is a mathematical process. It's a discrete equivalent of continuous process. Assuming system state is same or assuming physics is same, we are applying mathematics. So while then doing the mathematical operation in between, you should not. So you should change those flags only after completing all the 4 steps of RK4 and updating the state variables, and from the states only you should. All these equations are like that only. Whatever the conditions I told, theta dot K plus 1, this is obtained after the 4 steps of integration for these 2 Sorry, there was a connection problem. I think you're not missed anything. I have complete. You could hear all the the last portion also, right? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay. I think I have completed all the slides, last RK4 explanation I was telling with respect to physics and with respect to mathematical aspects, the flag setting should be done only in integration routine after completing all the 4 steps of integration and updating the state value. Now the assignment question is, you have to do you have to code the stick slip logic that I have given you in the MATLAB program. Already you have done the signum function sort of friction, Coulomb friction modeling. Now convert into stick slip friction. I will send you the formal question. Now I have only explained the theory. The formal question, assignment question, as a question I will send to your group so that you can distribute it. And I would like to see that you are, now all the quizzes are over. So you can finish before the next class. That is Friday morning is the next class. The time is up to midnight Thursday. Or Mr. Abhilash will set that timing in LMS Moodle. So you can submit it to the LMS Moodle based on this.
Can we, excuse me, sir?
Pardon?
Sir, we are having some other submissions also on the same day. Like there are other submissions from environmental science course and which are already decided. So can we somewhat delay the submission of assignment one?
This now 1 week is there, environment science and these are
only 4 days are there.
I have actually given you the entire logic. It is only some few lines of coding that you can definitely complete because within 3 days. And environment science and all are descriptive thing, easily coded.
Not only in
Pardon?
Sir, also some people have quizzes both today and tomorrow. And on Thursday, we have rocket propulsion as well as EVS submission. So,
and also the CFD learning also some people have.
Now you can add this also along with that all other things. Now I understand that so many people have given submission. Then when you can submit then on Saturday? By Saturday midnight you will put.
Sunday midnight if you can do, that will be very helpful.
Okay. Now you don't further extend it because we have class on Monday.
Yes, sir, we will not extend it.
Yeah.
Before Monday,
so,
midnight can be fine.
Yeah. Sunday midnight. Abhilash, you can set that timing for assignment submission. I will send you that question paper. This is a brainstorming session and I I hope that none of you will share each other the answer, because it is, if you copy it, it will be difficult for you as well as for me. So try to solve yourself. Unless you solve it yourself, you will not be able to do the final test paper. Here, through this process only, you are going to understand how we are going to code it. Okay. So all the best. We'll meet on next Friday morning. Then I will take class for other logic, that is the stroke limit logic and current loop logic. Okay.